The Dark Auction, Manila's underground human trafficking ring, inspired by true crime stories. Welcome to Crime Stories PH, where we uncover the darkest corners of Philippine society that most people never see. Tonight's episode delves into the shadows of Manila's criminal underworld, a place where human lives are treated as commodities. Based on real cases and testimonies from trafficking survivors, The Dark Auction, Manila's underground human trafficking ring, follows one woman's desperate search for her missing sister. A search that leads her into a high-stakes infiltration of Manila's most dangerous criminal enterprise. Human trafficking remains one of the Philippines' most urgent yet underreported crime epidemics. Tonight, Crime Stories PH takes you inside the investigation that exposed a trafficking network protected by wealth, power, and political connections. What you're about to witness is inspired by true crime stories that continue to plague our nation. The names and specific locations have been changed to protect the innocent and the brave individuals who helped bring these criminals to justice. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to never miss our weekly exposés of the most shocking true crime stories from across the Philippines. This content contains depictions of violence and criminal activity that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, Crime Stories PH presents The Dark Auction. The phone screen illuminated Maya Santos' face in the darkness of her cramped apartment. 3 a.m, and still no word from Iris. It had been 17 days since her sister's disappearance. 17 days of unanswered calls, useless police reports, and nightmares that left Maya gasping for air. The message that finally arrived wasn't from Iris. It was from an unknown number. Your sister is alive. Lot number 37. Tomorrow night. The Phoenix Club, Binondo. Come alone or she dies. Attached was a photo that made Maya's blood run cold. Iris, unconscious, with a digital auction tag superimposed next to her face. Maya's hands trembled as she navigated the maze-like streets of Manila's Binondo district. Rain pounded against the pavement, washing away the day's grime, but doing nothing to cleanse the city's darker elements that thrived in shadows. You need to go to the police, her best friend Dante had insisted earlier that day. The police? Maya had scoffed. The same ones who've done nothing for over 2 weeks? Who suggested Iris probably just ran off with a boyfriend? As a freelance photojournalist, Maya had documented enough corruption to know better. Besides, the message had been clear: come alone. She couldn't risk Iris's life. The Phoenix Club loomed before her now, its neon sign buzzing against the night sky. A legitimate business on paper, but Maya had found whispers online about its true nature after hours. About the wealthy patrons who came seeking merchandise that couldn't be purchased in daylight. She adjusted the hidden camera in her blouse button, ensuring the lens was unobstructed. If she couldn't rescue Iris tonight, she'd at least gather enough evidence to burn this place to the ground later. ID, the doorman demanded. Maya handed over her forged credentials. The fake identity had cost her nearly everything she had, purchased from a counterfeiter whose name she'd learned while investigating a story on document fraud last year. The doorman's eyes flicked from the ID to her face. First time, Maya nodded, struggling to project confidence. I've heard the Phoenix offers unique acquisitions. He studied her with cold eyes that seemed to penetrate her disguise. Maya's heart hammered in her chest. If he saw through her facade, everything would end before it began. Finally, he stepped aside. Enjoy your evening, Ms. Reyes. Maya entered the club, immediately assaulted by pulsing music and the scent of expensive cologne. The main floor appeared normal, a high-end nightclub where Manila's elite sipped champagne and danced under strobing lights. But she wasn't here for this floor. According to her research, the auction would be happening somewhere below. As Maya searched for access to the lower levels, a hand gripped her elbow. She spun around, coming face to face with a man in an impeccable suit, his features sharp as cut glass. "You seem lost," he said, his voice barely audible over the music. First auctions can be overwhelming. Maya's blood froze. How had he identified her so quickly? "I'm fine," she managed. The man's smile didn't reach his eyes. "I'm Victor Tan. I run security for these events." He leaned closer. "And you, my dear, are not on tonight's guest list." Maya's hand inched toward the taser concealed in her purse. One wrong move, and her sister was as good as dead. "There must be some mistake," she said. Indeed, Victor produced a tablet showing her photograph entering the club. Beside it was her real name, Maya Santos, photojournalist. The question is, his eyes hardened. "What are you really doing here?" "My sister," Maya said, abandoning pretense. "Iris Santos. She's here, isn't she? Lot 37. Recognition flickered across Victor's face. "Follow me." Every instinct screamed at Maya to run, but where? The exit was guarded, and Iris was somewhere in this building. She followed Victor through the crowd, memorizing escape routes. Instead of leading her to security, Victor brought her to a service elevator requiring a key card. "You're either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish," he said as the doors closed. "Which one keeps my sister alive?" Maya asked. "Neither, typically." The elevator descended deeper than Maya expected. When the doors opened, they revealed a dimly lit corridor that looked nothing like the opulent club above. "Why are you helping me?" Maya asked, suspicion edging her voice. Victor's expression remained unreadable. "I have my reasons, but understand this, I'm not your friend." He led her down the corridor to a small room filled with monitors displaying surveillance feeds. "Your sister arrived 3 days ago. Shipment from Mindanao." The clinical way he described it made Maya's stomach turn. "A local politician recognized her from your work. You've made powerful enemies with your exposés, Miss Santos." On one monitor, Maya spotted a large room being prepared. Staff arranged chairs in semicircles facing a small stage. "The auction begins in 1 hour," Victor said. 31 lots tonight. Your sister is indeed 37, the final offering. I need to get her out before then." "Impossible. The holding areas are heavily guarded." "Then what's your plan?" Maya demanded. Victor handed her an envelope. "Bidding paddle number 18. You'll need this." Maya stared at him in disbelief. "You expect me to participate in this?" "If you want to save your sister, yes." "Win the bid. With what money?" "I emptied my savings just getting in here." Victor's expression remained impassive. "That's your problem. Find a solution or say goodbye to your sister." He checked his watch. "I need to return upstairs. The cameras in this room loop for 3 minutes every half hour for system updates. Next loop begins in 2 minutes. Whatever you're planning, do it then." After Victor left, Maya frantically examined the monitors. One showed rows of small holding cells. In one, a figure sat hunched on a cot. Iris. Maya's heart leapt. Her sister was alive. The monitor displayed the cell's location, sublevel 3, Block C. When the cameras began their loop, Maya slipped out, following emergency exit signs towards sublevel 3. She had less than an hour to find a way into the holding area, or somehow acquire enough money to outbid human traffickers and their wealthy clients. Maya had almost reached Block C when alarms blared through the corridor. Red emergency lights bathed everything in crimson. Over the speakers, a calm voice announced, "Security breach on sublevel 3. All personnel initiate Protocol Hermes. Auction delayed 30 minutes." Maya pressed herself against the wall as guards rushed past. They weren't looking for her. Not yet, but the heightened security made her mission nearly impossible. Then she spotted him through a doorway the local politician Victor had mentioned, surrounded by security. The man who had targeted Iris to punish Maya for her journalism. Governor Anton Villanueva. Her most recent investigation had linked him to missing development funds intended for typhoon victims. As their eyes met across the room, recognition dawned on his face. His shock quickly transformed into a smug smile. "Well," he said to his security detail, "look who's come to join our little event." "Seize her," Villanueva ordered. Maya turned to run, but guards blocked both ends of the corridor. With nowhere to go, she reached for her taser, but hesitated. Using it would only confirm her identity as an intruder. Villanueva approached, his security detail forming a barrier between them and any onlookers. Maya Santos, the persistent journalist who thinks she can change the Philippines with her little stories. He circled her like a predator. "How does it feel, knowing your work led directly to your sister's capture?" "You're a monster," Maya hissed. "I'm a businessman and public servant. You interfered with both." He gestured to his guards. "Take her to Block D. We now have Lot 38. As guards moved to grab her, Victor appeared. "Governor, a word." He pulled Villanueva aside, speaking in hushed tones. The governor's expression darkened, but he eventually nodded. Victor returned to Maya. "The governor has agreed to a wager." "What kind of wager?" Maya asked, wary. "You've been given bidding privileges. If you win your sister's auction, both of you walk free. If you lose, you both belong to the highest bidder." "That's insane," Maya said. "I told you I don't have that kind of money." "You have something more valuable," Victor said. "Information. The governor believes you possess unreleased evidence regarding his activities. The auction has been delayed due to an unrelated security matter. You have 30 minutes to gather whatever funds you can." He slipped her a phone. "Make your calls." When they left her alone in a security office, Maya immediately called Dante. "Maya, where are you? I've been worried sick." "Listen carefully," she said, explaining her situation as quickly as possible. "I need money. A lot of it. How much?" "Millions, probably." Dante was silent for a moment. "I can't get that kind of cash, but maybe we don't need it." "What do you mean?" "The evidence against Villanueva you've been gathering. If we release it now, he'll kill us both. Not if everyone sees it. Not if it goes viral while you're in there." Maya thought quickly. "The camera in my button. It's broadcasting to our secure server." "Exactly. I can release everything. The Typhoon Fund investigation, plus whatever you're filming now." "Dante, this is a major human trafficking operation. If you expose it while I'm still inside, it's your only leverage. These people care about reputation and secrecy. Threaten that, and you might not need money to win." Maya considered their options. The plan was desperate, but what choice did she have? "Do it," she said, "but give me until the auction begins. I need to find Iris first." When Victor returned, Maya was ready. "I've made arrangements for payment," she lied. He led her to the auction hall, now filling with Manila's disguised elite. Each wore an ornate mask to conceal their identity, though Maya recognized several prominent figures despite their attempts at anonymity. Victor handed her a similar mask. "Lot 37 in 20 minutes. Good luck, Miss Santos." As he walked away, Maya called after him. "Why are you helping me?" "Even a little." He led her to the auction hall, now filling with Manila's disguised elite. Each wore an ornate mask to conceal their identity, though Maya recognized several prominent figures despite their attempts at anonymity. Victor handed her a similar mask. "Lot 37 in 20 minutes. Good luck, Miss Santos." As he walked away, Maya called after him. "Why are you helping me?" "Even a little." The auctioneer took the stage, a slender woman in a crimson dress and golden mask. "Welcome, distinguished guests, to our exclusive acquisition event. Maya's phone vibrated. A message from Dante. Ready when you are. One word, and everything goes public. The first lot was brought on stage. A young man, disoriented and terrified. Maya fought the urge to scream as bidding began. From across the room, she caught Villanueva watching her, a triumphant smile playing on his lips. He raised his paddle for every lot, winning 3 in quick succession. The auction progressed with mechanical efficiency. Maya watched helplessly as human beings were sold into servitude or worse. Then, just as Lot 35 concluded, Maya felt the press of cold metal against her ribs. "Don't move," whispered a voice she didn't recognize. "The governor sends his regards. You won't be participating in the bidding after all." The man guided Maya toward a side exit, the gun concealed between their bodies. No one paid them any attention. Discretion was the lifeblood of these events. "My sister," Maya said. "Please. Should have minded your own business, journalist." As they reached the door, Maya noticed Victor observing from across the room. Their eyes met briefly before he looked away, apparently unwilling to intervene this time. Maya's hand moved to her phone, ready to text Dante the signal. If she was going down, she'd take this entire operation with her. Before she could send the message, the door they were approaching burst open. Security guards rushed in, shouting about a perimeter breach. In the confusion, Maya drove her elbow into her captor's stomach. He doubled over, and she wrenched away, disappearing into the panicked crowd. Over the speakers, the auctioneer called for calm. "Security is handling the situation. Please remain seated." But the damage was done. The wealthy buyers, paranoid about exposure, began streaming toward exits. Maya fought against the tide, pushing toward the stage. If she could reach the holding area during the chaos. A hand gripped her arm. She turned, ready to fight, but found Victor. "This way," he hissed, pulling her through a staff door and down a service corridor. "Your friend outside has created quite the distraction." "Dante, someone triggered the fire alarms on every level. Police will respond to the main floor soon, but they won't find anything suspicious there." "How much time do we have?" "Minutes. The highest value merchandise, including your sister, is being moved to a secondary location." They descended a stairwell to sub-level 3. Unlike before, the holding area was a flurry of activity as guards prepared prisoners for transport. "Block C," Victor reminded her. "I can get you inside, but then you're on your own." He swiped his card at a security door, then created a distraction by triggering a medical alarm at the opposite end of the facility. As guards rushed to respond, Maya slipped into Block C. The holding cells lined both walls. Many stood empty, their occupants already moved. Maya ran down the corridor, checking each cell. "Iris," she called, no longer concerned with stealth. A weak voice responded from the end of the hall. "Maya." She found her sister huddled in the corner of her cell, thinner than Maya remembered, with dark circles under her eyes. "I knew you'd come," Iris whispered. The cell was locked with a keypad. Maya tried Victor's card, but it beeped in denial. "Stand back," she said, pulling out her taser. She jammed it against the electronic lock, sending sparks flying as the mechanism short-circuited. The door swung open, and the sisters embraced briefly. "Can you walk?" Maya asked. Iris nodded, though she leaned heavily on Maya as they moved toward the exit. They had almost reached the stairwell when Governor Villanueva stepped into their path, flanked by armed guards. "How touching," he said. "The heroic sister comes to the rescue." Maya positioned herself in front of Iris. "It's over, Governor. The evidence against you is ready to go public at any moment." Villanueva laughed. "Empty threats from a dead woman." "Not empty," Maya said, holding up her phone. "My partner has everything. the Typhoon Fund embezzlement, your connection to this trafficking ring, and live stream footage from tonight's auction, including your participation. One text from me, and all goes online. You're bluffing. Try me, Maya challenged. Or we can make a deal. My sister and I walk out of here, and the evidence stays buried. Villanueva's face contorted with rage. You think I can't find you later? I don't have reach beyond these walls. Oh, I'm counting on you trying, Maya said. That's why there's a second file. Everything we have on you, scheduled to release automatically if anything happens to either of us. So what's it going to be, Governor? A chance to salvage your career or mutual destruction? For a long moment, the only sound was the distant wail of approaching sirens. Then the lights flickered once, twice, plunging them into darkness before emergency generators kicked in. When the dim red emergency lights illuminated the corridor again, the balance of power had shifted. Victor stood behind Villanueva, his own gun trained on the governor's security detail. Police are entering the main club, Victor announced. Fire department right behind them. Your choice, Governor. Face corruption charges later, or human trafficking charges now. Villanueva's eyes darted between them, calculating. This isn't over. No, Meyer agreed. But tonight is. The governor backed away slowly, then turned and fled with his guards toward a different exit. What? Maya asked Victor as he led them through a service tunnel. Why help us? This operation has grown too reckless, too visible, he said. Some sacrifices are necessary for the greater enterprise to survive.